Okay, so game number 1, we landed in on Dreadnought map, and I'm going to try to see if I can share some of my thought process here. So I started in a Griffin with Ron Magnums, and all of the weapons have a range of 350 meters. I'm focusing down Burning Fire. Once he got within 350, he jumped away, but this is where I kind of looked at Togi on my left flank here, and I took a couple shots at him, and what you see me doing now is planning to move to cover on this right side. By doing that, I'm going to cut off the angle of attack on my left side or left flank so that I can focus on Burning Fire. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm isolating Togi away from Burning Fire, and that way I can engage one-on-one. And I took Burning Fire out, but now I also have elevation advantage over Kitty and Bosna. So it looks like some of my plasma is going through a Kitty here as well. So that is a bit of a bug for those of you that are wondering. And I'm focusing down Bosna as well, and this is when I see Burning Fire come out with a Lancelot with Ansel and Terrans. So now I'm trying to corner shoot in the hopes of actually breaking his physical shield. It looks like I'm firing all my weapons and some of them are hitting the cover. It's because I'm playing on an iPhone and the controls are very small, so that's why I can't just fire like the side weapons. And I'm doing the same thing here to Kitty as well. So I'm trying to wear down their physical shield to break it so that they can start taking damage, both from me and my teammates. And you see me rotate around this cover here, back and forth, trying to get a better angle on, those two players. And when Burning Fire isn't looking at me, I'm trying to hit him on the side where he doesn't have a physical shield as well. And this is when I tried to see if I could engage Togi, and I realized that he was in a Galahad with Ron Magnums. So for those of you that don't know, the Galahad shield is actually stronger than the Lancelot shield because it's a solid shield. It's just one shield versus the Lancelot, which has a shield which consists of 3 parts to it. Okay, so I took Burning Fire out. I'm trying to see if I can focus on Togi here, maybe get a couple of shots in on him from the side. And this is when I saw Bosna. So Bosna jumped at me. I wasn't sure if he had plasma or if he had Orkans, but I jumped anyways because if he did have Orkans, he would be out of range. So here I'm using now range to my advantage in order to take him out. And now I'm going to try to see if I can engage Togi as well, who is on my left side. And this is when I break his shield, and I'm kind of using cover again to corner shoot because I only have 4,640 health left here. So at this point I'm trying to corner shoot. I managed to break his shield and I took him out, and I'm trying to survive here, but all it takes is a couple of shots and Togi was able to take me out. So after this I spawn in with my Fujing Terrans, and what you see me doing here is I'm looking around because I can see 3 players who were in front of me. I wanted to see where the other player was, and the other player, Bosna, was on my right side or behind me here. So what you see me doing is I'm actually going to move closer towards my teammate, because my thinking was, well, first of all, I should always help my teammates out, and Venom was going one-on-one versus Bosna. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to move over to try help him so that we can create a 2 vs 1 on Bosna. That way we stand a better chance at taking him out. And I believe he was in a Griffin with Terran Magnums, and this is when I decided to engage because I have 3 Terrans and it does a lot of damage very quickly here, and we both ended up taking each other out. At this point I spawned in with my dock. I got hit from above, and as I said before, elevation has advantage, so I moved away from that covered area there, or at least the center area, and I'm moving away, trying to keep track of all the players in front of me, because by doing that I can see their positioning on the map, but also their range. I'm trying to get within range of someone who is within 300 meters, since I have Orkans, and I do see Kitty. And this is when I decided to engage, or at least go after him with my dock with Orkans, and he jumped away. I'm trying to get within range. I think I fired, but I ended up firing into the ground because it was only just at the edge of that 300 meter mark, and then he moved to my left. and this is when I decided to engage up top here. The reason why I just moved in so aggressively is because I could see there were arrows on my left side of my screen, and I wasn't sure how close they were on my left flank, so I had to make a move very quickly. I then spawned in with my Rhino, noticing that there was a player that was threatening this beacon, and I saw Bosna. I actually pressed the assault button, but it didn't work at first. That's why there was a bit of a delay there. But I helped my teammate out, and then I moved towards center. So now I'm trying to see where all the players are. I see that there are all 4 players in front of me, and I decided to move towards Bosna. Now I wasn't sure what Bosna was in, and that's why you see me kind of moving very cautiously here. And I'm gonna try to see if I can like sort of side peek just to see what bot he's in. I do see a Fujing, so I figured he probably has Orkans or Turans. And this is when I decide to back off. Because if he does have Orkans, then I'm not in a very good position, because obviously with the energy shield, he can block my Orkans and I can't block his, because I got a physical shield. I don't have an energy shield. And I do see a player up top there burning fire, so I'm keeping an eye on all these players that are above me, because remember, elevation has the advantage. And this is when I think I decided to engage burning fire. He was towards the edge there, so I tried to see if I could wear him down a little bit, and this is when I think I decided to engage Bosna. So I'm just looking around my blind spots to see where everyone is. I'm always trying to see if I can have all the players in front of me so that I can see their positioning on the map. And I decided to engage Bosna here because I actually thought one of my teammates was going to attack at the same time, but it ended up just being me. So I think I threw away my Rhino there, which was a bit of a mistake. And I spawned in with my last bot being my Fury Thunder. I did see Ben or Kitty moving towards the left side to engage my teammate, and this is when I decided to fire up my Thunders. So I'm trying to sort of wither him down a bit here, just to help my teammate, and then I moved in towards center. And I noticed that there was a player above me, and as I said, elevation always has the advantage, so I locked on to burning fire. But the thing is, he actually jumped over me, so I lost that lock on. This is why I'm looking around waiting for him to land, and then he finally landed in front of me, and then I hit him, and I decided to move in towards center. So now I know that we have 3 players, they have 2. I'm trying to see where they are. I do see Bosna in his Fujing. I'm keeping my distance because he has either 300 or 350 meters of me, and he does have Orkans, I believe. So I'm trying to stay out of that range, but I'm also hitting him from the 320 meters so that I can knock down his shield. At that point, it's no point being in sentry mode, and I know my teammate has the ability to take him out, so that's what I'm doing there. And then I moved all the way around here, and I'm trying to see if I can help my teammate out. And I think at this point the game ended. Yep. And there you have it. So 1 million damage in that game. Okay, so game number 2, we dropped in on power plant map, and this time around it was 3 versus 3. Predator, as you can see, was on my team. If you don't know about Predator, he does have a YouTube channel with some amazing content. Make sure to check him out. I'll be sure to put a link to his channel in the video description. But yeah, I started off with my Doc with Orkans. Just in case they happen to go through the gap here, I would have a lot of Orkans to dish out that splash damage. But essentially what I'm doing here is I'm looking to see where their positioning on the map is. I did see Togi making a move to the left side, so I tried to get a couple of shots in on him, but luckily he was in a Rogatka and he was able to evade my Orkans. I then had a teammate shoot a lot of rockets on the right side, Orkans, and I decided to engage just so that I could follow through and make sure that we take Venom out there. And this is Beacon Rush, and what I'm doing here is I'm looking to see how many players are on the map, and I only see 2 red showing, which means the 3rd red hasn't dropped in, so that's why I'm hesitating to actually get that beacon on the right side. So I'm scanning around, keeping an eye, because I know they can see me on the mini map. And at this point, this is when my teammate decided to rush in. So I quickly moved over there because I knew he was going to drop in, and this is when I tried to hit him with my Orkans, but luckily he was able to jump and evade my Orkans. So I got hit pretty bad here, and with only one Orkan really functioning without having to switch, I try to focus on Togi just to get some damage in. At this point I did see the beacon by the beach being threatened, so I dropped in. I see Bosna and I'm trying to focus him down with my Plasma Griffin, and he ends up running into the gap for cover. And at this point, I'm trying to corner shoot, and I saw Venom jump in, and he had the Griffin with Orkan Panada, so I got hit really bad. And obviously I was forced to jump there, but I think my mistake was not jumping soon enough. I think I should have immediately jumped when I saw him jumping. I think that would have been possibly a better move. So we both end up taking each other out. And I saw, two players moving towards that, I think it's B beacon, the gap beacon. So I spawned in with my Fury Thunder in the hopes that I could actually take one of their players out. The Fury Thunder works really well in covered areas, and this is a very covered area, so that's why I spawned in with it in the hopes of doing a lot of damage and taking out those players that jumped in towards this beacon. And now I'm looking to see how many players are on the map, their positioning. So I'm scanning, and I do see Venom, and he's being shot at by my teammates, so I try to see if I could kind of flank around here to help my teammate out. But I also see Togi firing aphids. Now that's why I start to move a little bit closer to this building, just so that he can't arc the aphids over and hit me. And I believe I was planning on getting Togi, but again, you notice the two players, one player hasn't spawned in. Then the one player, I believe it was Venom, spawned in, and he hit me really bad with his Thunder Orkans on his Lancelot, but he also got hit really bad by Orkans there. And now I'm reduced down to a Fury with 2 Thunders, and I'm trying to get close to Togi here to at least inflict some damage. My goal was really to also try to see if I could turn this beacon. That's why I'm trying to hug the building here. And you can see I'm trying to turn the beacon, and I did manage to do that. Using cover, firing my Thunders over this building. Eventually Togi did take me out with his aphids, but again, we do have this beacon here. So my teammate spawned in, hit him with Orkans, and I was taken out by those aphids. So at this point, I spawned in with my Rhino, and I see Venom making a move for the gap. And I wasn't sure what he was in. Then I saw the Plasma Griffin, so I moved back behind cover, just rotating around. He did jump, so I tried to get a couple of shots in on him. And then I moved behind cover once again, and I wasn't sure what Bosna was in, so that's why I moved closer to the wall. I did see Togi spawn in, and he was going to be threatening that one beacon, so I fired my Orkans. I hit him really bad here actually, but he hit me too. I was out of Orkans. I just put my shield up because I didn't really know what to do at that point. If you're in a Rhino and you get hit by Orkans, there's not much you can do. So I did spawn in with my Fujing, moving towards gap, because we were trying to protect that beacon. We're in a position now where we have 3 beacons, and now it's 3 versus 2 so far, and I'm looking to see if there's another player that drops in, and so far nothing's happening. So I figured, what, with 4 minutes 48, he's probably mech'd out at this point, and I'm trying to move around this building here, trying to hit Bosna, because he's also in a Fujing. So we have a one-on-one Fujing battle going on here. I was in actually a counter to his build, but I need to stay out of range, and that's the problem. I was trying to engage him and probably being a little bit too aggressive with my Fujing, and I think if I had to play it differently, what I should have maybe perhaps done with my Fujing wasn't to go after him at this point, maybe to go after the other player on the right side, or at least move that side so I can create more distance. But yeah, I tried to engage. I got taken out. Predator was there, and I think he did hit Bosna, but I'm not sure if he got taken out too. Just trying to look to see what happened here. I think he got taken out perhaps by Togi. But at this point, it's now 1 versus 2. Togi's critically damaged. You can see he's smoking up. Bosna, I know, got hit pretty bad too. And we have the other teammate. He is kind of moving around like he's the last player left now. And it's a bit a scramble here for beacon. So Bosna is trying to go for the beacon here by the gap. He got a bit stuck here. He's trying to make his way to the gap beacon. And our other player, I believe, is going after Togi, or at least trying to get another beacon there. So I'm looking here at Bosna, and you know, the other player, is it El Katrin? I don't know how to pronounce his name. But he got that beacon. So now it's a 1 versus 1. But here's the thing: we have 4 beacons, and they have 1 beacon. So now we're in a situation where it's like 1 versus 1. And I think I saw that he was in, yeah, he's in a fuging as well. So Bosna's trying to corner shoot him. He's trying to fire his plasma, and he's trying to hide. So we're basically, we were on comms here, and we're telling him to, you know, hide behind cover, because now Bosna has an Ancelot. But the thing is, we've got 4 beacons, and you know, at this point, a Lancelot's not going to get all the beacons because they're pretty slow. So we were telling this Alcatrin, or this root player, to just hide, because at this point we have a beacon bar advantage. We have 4 beacons. He is smoking up. He's only got 2 Turans left, and all he needs to do is to hide. Enough time for the beacon bar, or their beacon bar, to deplete, and we finally did win this game. So a very exciting game on Power Plant map. Okay, so game number 3 happened on Moon map. Same team, same players, and I decided to drop in with my dock with Orkans once again. My thinking was they may possibly push through center pretty aggressively. That didn't happen. So once I was in center and I grabbed the C beacon, I retreated. I didn't want to play too aggressively and go all the way through, because if I did that, I would have flanks firing at me from the left and right sides. So I didn't want to put myself in that kind of position. I moved to the right side in the hopes I could help my teammate, but then I noticed Venom moving towards the C beacon. So I peeked around the corner. I saw that he was in a Rogatka with Orkans, and I decided to back off. But as he started to get a little bit closer, you know, I fired a couple of rounds hoping to push him back. My thinking was maybe I would change his course of attack and he would move all the way back to their side. That didn't happen though, but I did move to the right side in the hopes that I could help my teammate out and create a 2 versus 1 situation against Bosna. But as I moved closer here, what actually ended up happening was Venom decided to go for a home beacon. And typically when a player goes for a beacon, they tend to like hover around that area, pretty much stationary for the most part, in order to turn that beacon. And that's what he was doing, and that's when I decided to attack when he had that vulnerability on him. The problem though is he had captured this beacon, and he spawned in with a Griffin with Orkan Panatas, or the Death Button Griffin. So as he jumped up, you notice how I moved towards him, and that way I was hoping that, you know, the angle of his Orkans when it came down, it would miss me. And I was also trying to use the pillar too to absorb some of his rockets, so that's why I moved that way around that pillar. I spawned in with a Plasma Griffin. I helped to take out Togi, and then I took out Bosna as well. This is more of a case of, you know, having the right bot out at the right time just by coincidence. And then what happened was, I believe Bosna jumped all the way over trying to take out my teammates. I jumped back, helped to take him out, and he was taken out almost instantly once he had hit the ground. And at this point, you know, I'm trying to see where the players are, trying to get them in front of me so I can see their positioning on the map, scanning their range as well, because now I have range of 350 meters. So I did see, you know, Bosna kind of jump towards that side there. So I know he's in a Griffin or something, and there is a player at center. I started firing at the player in center, but when I saw the Orkans, I had to jump, and I tried to fire at them, but because, you know, I didn't have a good angle, I focused on Bosna at the time, but then obviously he took me out. And at this point I spawned in with my Fury Thunder, and I saw both of my teammates down below. They're trying to get the center beacon there, but I believe Venom is up top holding it down, and I saw Bosna moving to our right beacon, so I decided to move towards him. And it was kind of funny because we were on comms and he was trying to figure out what bot I was in. So he was trying to figure out, you know, which bots they had killed, which one I had remaining. And I didn't reveal which one because he knew that I either had a Fujing, a Rhino, or the Fury Thunder. So I'm moving around the corner. I did take one shot, and that's when he knew, I was in the Fury Thunder. And now he's trying to back off, because if he gets very close to me, it's going to be a couple of shots and he's out. And I know he's in the Plasma Griffin. He tried to jump away, but when you have a Fury Thunder that close, your chances of survival aren't that great. And this is when I decided to try to move cautiously to the center, and he spawned in with a Fuging, but notice how quickly I knocked down his shield and I got him down to about half health. And at this point he doesn't have any energy shield, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should spawn into a Rhino, quickly go around the corner and try to take him out, because it's going to take him a while to not only regenerate his Orkans but regenerate his shield as well. So I'm moving around the corner here, and this is when I dish out all those Orkans, knowing that he can't fire back and he doesn't have a shield in order to block me. And I see Togi is within like the 300-meter range. I'm not sure what he's actually in, so I'm kind of moving towards the center here. And as I get within range, I just start firing my Orkans. And I believe this is when Predator dropped in and took him out. Yeah, so this is where he got taken out. And at this point, as I'm pushing through center, I turn around, I see my blind spot, I see Bosna. He's got an energy shield, so I'm not sure what it is, but then I see that it's an Ancelot. At this point, I'm not hanging back. I'm trying to get actually as close to this wall as possible, because my thinking is maybe he will make a mistake and fumble, go over the edge, and then I'm within his bubble and I can, take him out with my Orkans and Panadas. That didn't happen though. He played it really well. So he was using his elevation advantage and cover, as well as his energy shield, to take advantage of his position, the higher elevation, and he was trying to take me out here. I tried to stay close to the wall. I didn't want to back up, because if I did, he would be able to actually fire above my shield. So at this point, I wasn't really doing much damage to him. I only had 8,506 health. So I decided to go all the way around, and my thinking was maybe, once he's distracted with my teammates, I could take a couple of shots in on him, or maybe he will make a mistake. So at this point, it's just about being patient, waiting for the other player to make a mistake. So that's why you see me rotating around this cover, kind of very similar to actually what I did in game number 1. And when he started firing, that's when I started firing at him. He turned around, he actually hit me. But yeah, that was my attempt at trying to take him out. At this point, I do see a couple of players moving towards that C beacon. And I see 2 players coming down below. And I don't want them to get this beacon, so that's when I spawned in. I took out Venom. And with Togi, you see how I'm moving back and forth in the hopes that some of his plasma misses me. And I was able to break his shield and take him out. So now we're in a situation where it's now 2 versus 1, but I'm not sure if they have another player yet. So now I'm moving into center, and I'm not looking too good here. I've only got 47,000 health left. So I move over. I take a couple of shots here on Bosna, hoping to break his shield, which I did, but I was taken out, and that was my last bot. So now we are in a situation very similar to the last game. We now have an Ancelot with his shield broken, and we have another Ancelot on top. So now we're trying to figure out, which beacon must he go for. So he's sitting on the top beacon here, and Bosna went all the way through. So we were all telling Katrine to actually go for the home beacon. So he's rushing to go for the home beacon, and now you have 2 chubbies racing towards beacons, trying to win the game. Because look at the beacon bar. It's pretty even here. So Bosna has his shield blown off here. You can see he's smoking up, and he's trying to go for beacons. Katrine's going for a beacon as well, but the good news is his Lancelot is stronger than Bosna, because he has his physical shield, he has more health. But it's just kind of funny, because we have 2 chubbies running around the map trying to get these beacons in order to win the game. So you see all these beacons. He got the home beacon. He went down to get their home beacon as well. And at this point, I'm like, yeah, we're definitely going to win, because Bosna has to go all the way around. And Katrine's actually in a very good position here, because once he gets his beacon, what he can actually do is he can run to center to make sure that Bosna doesn't get it. So that's pretty much what happened here. Now he's running towards our home beacon, trying to get it, and Bosna realizes what's going on, so he goes all the way around. And at this point, things started to get really exciting. It was actually really funny being on comms too. But Alcatrin's like, he's trying to hold up Bosna, and I'm like, go for the beacon, maybe use the pillar as a cover so you can use it as a shield and fire his Turans on either side. So that's what he's doing. He's moving closer. Now that we have 4 beacons, Bosna's definitely at a disadvantage. But I think Alcatrin maybe exposed his Lancelot a little bit too much here. I think what he should have done was maybe get behind the pillar like he's doing right now, which gives him the prime position of using it as a physical shield and then firing Turans on either side. And at this point, Bosna, I think, knew that there was no ways that he was going to win. He had his Ansel shield blown off, and Alcatrin was able to finish him off. But such an exciting game, similar to the last game, but this one was quite funny because you had 2 chubbies running around trying to grab beacons, and we all know how slow the Lancelot is. But anyways, that was the 3 games that I wanted to post. We actually had a couple of games, but those were the most exciting, at least for me. But yeah, anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, consider subscribing, and I guess until the next video, I'll catch you guys later.